Imagine this. You're sitting in a cozy cafe, a steaming latte in front of you. Across the table, a woman's eyes sparkle as her body subtly leans toward you. What you don't realize is that, at this very moment, she's sending out hidden signals, signs that only appear when a woman is deeply and powerfully attracted to you. The fascinating thing is, most men completely miss these signals. Not because they're foolish or lacking sensitivity, but because no one has ever taught them how to read the silent language of attraction. There's a truth almost no man is ever told: attraction isn't about what you say, it's about what you make her feel. We tend to believe that making an impression requires being bold and flashy, that to win her over you just have to shower her with compliments, and that you can only be sure when she directly says, "I like you," or invites you out. But in reality, women rarely express their attraction so openly. Cultural and social norms make them careful about revealing their feelings. Deep down, they believe the man worth their heart is the one perceptive enough to read these silent signals. Their minds are wired to test your value before giving you their full trust and affection. That's why the most magnetic moments don't come from sweet words, but from what's hidden, in the glance that lingers a second longer, in the unconscious movements of her body, and in the subtle tests that, if you miss, could make you lose your chance the very moment it appears. The first sign, the copycat effect, is one of the most subtle yet powerful indicators that someone is genuinely attracted to you. This isn't a deliberate action, but rather an unconscious bodily response, hardwired into the brain through millions of years of evolution. In psychology, this phenomenon is called mirroring, a mechanism that helps people create a sense of harmony and trust with the person in front of them. When a woman likes you, her brain activates this reflex to shorten the emotional distance, making both of you feel naturally close, even without saying a word. You'll notice this in the most ordinary moments. You lift your glass to take a sip of water, and a few seconds later, she takes a sip too. You lean forward to emphasize a point in your story, and unconsciously, she leans forward as well. You scratch your neck lightly, and moments later, her hand brushes through her hair. This isn't a random coincidence, it's her body repeating you as a primal way to connect. To spot it more clearly, pay attention to the delay. If she mirrors your actions within about 3 to 5 seconds, it's a strong sign of attraction. If the delay is longer, around 30 to 60 seconds, she might be trying to suppress her feelings, but her body still betrays her mind by mirroring you. The stronger the attraction, the quicker and more accurate this reaction will be. A smart way to test it is to create a subtle trial: change your sitting posture, adjust your tone of voice, or lightly touch an object on the table, then observe her reaction. If you see her repeating the movement, you have your answer. You can even use it in reverse, gently mirroring some of her gestures to make her feel comfortable, as if the two of you have always been in sync. But remember, everything should feel natural. Overdoing it can come across as fake or trigger suspicion. The copycat effect is a silent language of attraction. With careful observation, you'll realize that sometimes the heart doesn't need words, the body will speak on behalf of the feelings. Second sign, the forced jealousy trap is one of the most subtle tests women use when they truly have feelings for you. While it may sound like an emotional game, in reality, this is an evolutionary mechanism wired into the brain to help them choose a man who is steady, unshakable, and free from insecurity. When a woman begins to develop deep emotions, she will unconsciously create situations that make you feel a touch of jealousy, just to measure whether you have the confidence and self-worth that will allow her to safely entrust you with her heart. This process usually unfolds in 3 stages. First comes the gentle withdrawal. In the middle of a lively conversation, she might suddenly mention another man's name or create a slight distance, catching you off guard. Next is probing your reaction. She might drop a vague line like, "Those other girls probably suit you better, huh?" This is when she's watching how you handle being compared. Finally, there's the contact with another man. She may stand close to him, or mention that someone invited her out, while subtly glancing at you to see how you respond. Unfortunately, most men get trapped here. Many rush to explain, "No, I only see her as a friend," or show jealousy and irritation. Others simply walk away, assuming she's lost interest. All these reactions lower your score in her eyes because they reveal that you're being ruled by emotions rather than staying in control. The smart way to handle it is surprisingly simple: stay calm and smile. You might nod lightly or even say, "Yeah, he seems like a fun guy." This attitude sends a powerful message that you're confident, unthreatened by others' attention, and that your value isn't defined by a moment of comparison. When you pass this test, something remarkable happens. Dopamine and oxytocin, the two brain chemicals linked to happiness and bonding, spike in her system. She will feel safer, appreciate you more, and your connection will grow stronger than ever. Understanding this trap allows you to see that what might seem like an uncomfortable moment is actually a golden opportunity to prove your composure and strength. Why are these two signs so powerful? In the world of attraction psychology, the two signs, mirroring and the jealousy trap, are not just surface-level behaviors, but the result of thousands of years of evolution. From an evolutionary standpoint, mirroring serves as a way to confirm harmony and alignment. Back in primitive times, compatibility between two individuals increased their chances of survival, allowed for coordinated hunting, protection, and the successful raising of offspring. In contrast, jealousy emerged as a natural test for women to assess a man's ability to protect and lead. Is he steady, confident, and capable of holding an important place in her life? From a neurological perspective, when a man correctly reads these signals, a woman's brain releases a mix of happiness-inducing neurotransmitters such as dopamine and oxytocin. Dopamine creates a sense of excitement, making her want to be around you more, while oxytocin reinforces trust and emotional bonding. This combination makes her easily addicted to the feeling of being with you, even if she can't fully explain it in words. In today's fast-paced society, where relationships move quickly and the dating environment is full of choices, these two signs become even more valuable. Mirroring allows you to instantly recognize who is genuinely interested, while the jealousy trap gives you a chance to gauge the depth of her emotional investment. Understanding and accurately identifying these signs not only saves you from wasting time on shallow connections but also opens the door to building deeper and more lasting bonds. How to apply this in real life? Imagine you're on a date. Soft music plays in the background, warm golden light spills across the table, and in the middle of the conversation, you suddenly realize, it's not the words she's saying that truly matter, but the subtle glimmer in her eyes, the way her hand absent-mindedly touches her glass, or how her body leans ever so slightly toward you. That's why, in real life, if you want to truly connect, you need to observe more than you listen, because the body often tells the truth, while the lips don't always. Observation alone, however, isn't enough. You must also keep your composure. When you overreact, laughing too loudly, rushing to compliment, or showing too much excitement, you unintentionally break the natural rhythm of emotions. Calmness doesn't mean coldness, it means giving both of you space to feel each other's presence. And sometimes, you can deliberately test the signals. Change your sitting position, or pause briefly in the middle of a story, then watch. Does she lean in closer? Does she try to keep the interaction going? These are the moments when you can gently and subtly gauge her level of interest. But most importantly, never jump to conclusions too quickly. A single sign doesn't prove anything. Sometimes she leans in simply to hear you better, or touches her glass out of habit. Look for at least 2 to 3 signs appearing together before you trust your instincts. When you learn to observe, remain calm, test subtly, and piece together multiple signals, you'll find that the world of silent language is far more fascinating than you imagined. And in that moment, you won't just be listening to her, you'll truly be understanding her. The lesson here is, attraction is not some mysterious magic reserved for a lucky few, it's a kind of science of emotions and behavior. Once you understand the principles, everything becomes clearer. Among these, the 2 strongest hidden signals women send when they truly like you are mirroring, subtly reflecting your actions, and the jealousy trap, delicate ways to make you notice them and feel a bit of emotional competition. Recognizing these signals is one thing, but how you respond is what truly matters. You don't need to appear overly excited or rush to seize the moment. Instead, stay calm, keep your confidence, and skillfully guide the emotional flow. Being proactive here doesn't mean forcing things, it means creating a space where both of you can naturally move closer to each other. When a man understands and applies this, he stops the habit of chasing and trying to prove his worth in meaningless ways. Instead, he becomes a magnet that women are naturally drawn to, because of his calmness and effortless charm. That is the difference between someone trapped in the endless chase for attention and someone who knows how to let attention come to him. If you start observing from today, you might be surprised to realize, someone may have been giving you those looks, those gestures, those silent but meaningful moments for a long time, but you never read them. Learning to listen to this silent language not only helps you understand others better, but also opens up a new world, where attraction is no longer a game of luck, but an art you can actively master. Share your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.